My best friend's name is Jake. We have been friends since we were 5 years old. We live in the same neighborhood, and we go to the same school. Jake is funny, kind, and always full of energy. He has curly brown hair and bright blue eyes. He loves adventure, and we always have fun together. We spend most of our time playing, exploring, and coming up with new games. Whenever one of us has a problem, the other is always there to help. One of the things I love most about Jake is that he never gives up. Whether it's a tough puzzle, a difficult math problem, or a challenge on the soccer field, he always keeps trying until he succeeds. That's one of the reasons why we make such a great team. We encourage each other, push each other to do better, and stand by each other no matter what. Jake's family is wonderful, too. He has 2 younger siblings, his sister, Emily, who's always full of questions, and his brother, Max, who loves to build things out of Lego blocks. Sometimes, we all hang out together, and we have a lot of fun. His mom is very kind and always invites me over for cookies and lemonade. His dad loves telling stories about when he was a kid, and I enjoy listening to those, especially the ones about Jake's childhood mischiefs. One day, something exciting happened. It was a bright and sunny Saturday morning, and Jake and I decided to go to the park. We packed some snacks, grabbed our bikes, and raced to the park. The air was fresh, and the birds were singing. We could hear the laughter of other kids playing as we pedaled as fast as we could. The path to the park was long, and we enjoyed every second of it. We raced down the small hills, laughing as the wind rushed past us. Jake was always faster on his bike, but I tried to keep up. "Catch me if you can," Jake would shout, his voice full of excitement. We were almost there when we saw something unusual. A small puppy was sitting under a tree, looking scared and alone. It was whimpering softly, and its tiny body was shaking. Its fur was dirty, and it looked like it hadn't eaten in a while. "Look at that puppy," Jake said, pointing at the little dog. We ran over to the puppy and saw that it was frightened. It had soft white fur and big brown eyes that looked at us with hope. "He looks lost," I said. "We need to help him." Jake took off his jacket and wrapped it around the puppy. "Let's take him home and find his owner," he said. The puppy wagged its tail slightly as if it understood that we wanted to help. We carefully picked him up and rode back to my house. As we went along, we spoke to the puppy softly. "Don't worry, little guy," I said. "We'll take care of you." My mom was surprised when she saw us carrying the little dog. "Where did you find him?" she asked, looking concerned. "At the park," we said together. "We think he's lost." My mom smiled and helped us give the puppy some food and water. He ate hungrily and wagged his tail happily, licking our hands in gratitude. "He's so friendly," Jake said, laughing. "Let's call him Lucky for now." We made a soft bed for Lucky in a cardboard box and watched him fall asleep. As he lay there peacefully, Jake and I sat nearby, brainstorming how we could find his owner. We even talked about what we would do if no one came to claim him. "Maybe we could keep him," Jake said with a grin. "I think he's our new friend." I smiled, but I knew that we had to do the right thing. We made a sign that said, "Lost Puppy Found," and put it around the neighborhood. We also told everyone we met about Lucky. We hoped his owner would see the signs and come for him. That night, Jake and I took turns watching Lucky. He seemed to trust us, and every time he looked up at us, we felt even more determined to find his real family. I imagined what it would be like if I lost my pet. I would want someone kind to take care of it and bring it back home. As I sat with Lucky, I thought about how much my life had changed since meeting Jake. He wasn't just a best friend. He was like a brother. We had shared so many moments, adventures, laughter, and even tough times when we supported each other. The bond we had was stronger than ever, and it made me realize that true friendship is built on trust, kindness, and loyalty. The next morning, we heard a knock at the door. A little girl and her father stood outside. The girl's eyes lit up when she saw Lucky. "That's my puppy, Max," she cried happily. The father smiled and said, "Thank you so much for finding him. We were so worried." Jake and I felt proud. Even though we were a little sad to say goodbye to Lucky, we knew he was back where he belonged. The little girl hugged Lucky tightly, and the puppy wagged his tail excitedly. The father reached into his pocket and pulled out a small envelope. "This is a little thank you gift for you boys," he said. Inside, we found 2 tickets to the amusement park. Jake and I jumped with excitement. "This is the best reward ever," I said. After they left, we sat on the porch, eating cookies that the little girl had given us along with the tickets. "That was the best adventure ever," Jake said. "Yeah. And we helped someone too," I replied. The next day, we went to the amusement park together. The rides were incredible. We went on the roller coaster 3 times, screamed on the giant drop ride, and laughed as we spun around on the teacups. It was the perfect way to celebrate our adventure. As we walked around the park, I noticed how many people were enjoying the day. Families were laughing, friends were playing games, and there was a general feeling of joy in the air. Jake and I talked about how lucky we were to be able to experience such a fun day together. Later, we found a small cafe at the park and sat down to have some ice cream. Jake always chose chocolate, and I went for vanilla with sprinkles. We talked about our next adventures, wondering what exciting thing would happen next. "Maybe we'll find a treasure one day," Jake said with a wide smile. I laughed. "Yeah, or maybe we'll rescue a whole bunch of animals." We spent hours at the amusement park, and when it was time to go home, we both agreed it had been one of the best days of our lives. That night, as I lay in bed, I thought about all the amazing memories Jake and I had made together. We had been best friends for years, and I knew we would always be there for each other. No matter what happens, I know we will always stick together, ready for the next exciting journey. After that experience, Jake and I started looking for more ways to help others. We helped our neighbors carry groceries, cleaned up the park, and even volunteered at an animal shelter. It made us happy to see the smiles on people's faces. One day, Jake said, "You know what? Maybe we should start our own adventure club. We can help people and have fun at the same time." "That's an awesome idea," I said. We got some of our other friends to join, and soon, we were on new adventures every week, helping, exploring, and making the world a better place together. Having a best friend like Jake is the greatest thing in the world. We share laughs, adventures, and unforgettable moments. No matter where life takes us, I know that our friendship will last forever. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Stay tuned for more exciting and inspiring stories right here on Best English Stories. Hello, my name is Alex. I am a student of English literature, and this is my story. I want to tell you about my life in London and my fantastic teacher. You can read my story and learn English with me. It was a beautiful summer day. I was traveling on a train. Two women were sitting opposite me, speaking English. I didn't understand much. I was studying English, but I was a beginner. I didn't know many words. Still, I wanted to communicate, so I started speaking to them using basic English. To my delight, the women understood me. That made me happy. I told them I wanted to learn English. They told me they were from England and were returning home from a conference. Our conversation lasted for about 10 minutes. When my station arrived, I said goodbye. Before leaving, the women gave me their address and phone number, inviting me to visit them in England. After this meeting, I worked on my English every day. I translated texts and watched films in English. In just 6 months, my English improved significantly. But I wanted to learn even more. So, I decided to go to London and study English there. Arriving in London. When I arrived in London, I joined a language school. My first lesson was on Monday. I met my teacher and other students in the class. My teacher was a young, kind, and humble woman. She introduced herself, and we did the same before starting the lesson. She asked us some general questions about the English language to assess our knowledge. Our teacher told us she used a unique and effective method to teach English. She said, "You will not have to study from textbooks. Instead, you will have to use English in your daily life." This approach turned out to be perfect for me because I often found textbooks confusing. We then discussed what is important when learning a new language. Our teacher explained that language is a tool for communication, allowing us to express ideas and thoughts. The best way to learn a language is to use it actively. In our course, we would focus on speaking and practicing English as much as possible. Many students focus on memorizing vocabulary and grammar rules but do not use the language for communication. Our teacher emphasized that while learning words and grammar is necessary, we must practice using them daily. This method made learning English much easier and more enjoyable for me. How I learned vocabulary. On Tuesday, I returned to school. One of my classmates asked an interesting question: what is the best way to learn new words? Our teacher explained that reading is the most effective way to learn vocabulary. People who read learn new words twice as fast as those who don't. She recommended reading for at least 30 minutes every day. She advised us to choose books or texts that are interesting and suitable for our level. When encountering a new word, we should look it up in a dictionary to understand its meaning. This method helps us remember the word naturally without needing to write it down. Reading also teaches us how words are connected in sentences, improving our overall language skills. Later, we discussed job opportunities in England. I wanted to work in my spare time, so my classmates suggested visiting a job center. After school, I went to the job center and spoke with a lady who helped me find a job as a waitress in a cafe. She assured me that my English was good enough and that I would get more practice speaking English at the cafe. I was excited to start my job on Thursday. Improving my pronunciation. On Wednesday, a quiet student from South Korea asked our teacher for advice on pronunciation. He understood English well but struggled with speaking because he lacked confidence in his pronunciation. Our teacher explained that pronunciation issues occur because we use our mouth muscles in the same way as in our native language. To improve, she introduced us to a technique called shadowing. Shadowing involves listening to a recording and repeating what we hear at the same time. It mimics how children learn their first language by copying their parents. Our teacher showed us a video demonstrating the shadowing technique, and we practiced for 3 minutes. She also recommended using shadowing before presentations to improve pronunciation. I had never heard of this technique before, but I found it fascinating and decided to use it in my learning process. Later that day, I inquired about sports activities at school. I was happy to learn there was a football team with training sessions that same evening. I joined the team and met players from different countries, including Brazil, Japan, Russia, Spain, Argentina, and Italy. I enjoyed the training and felt that my time in England was off to a great start. A new student and a new technique. On Thursday, a new student named Elizabeth joined our class. She was from Italy and had previously attended a 2-week beginner's course at our school. Now, she spoke English fluently with excellent pronunciation. Our teacher praised her progress and asked how she had improved so much. Elizabeth revealed that she learned English at home using techniques she had learned from our teacher. She practiced reading, shadowing, and thinking aloud. I was curious about thinking aloud, so I asked my teacher what it meant. She explained that it is a powerful technique that involves thinking in English and speaking your thoughts out loud. While it may seem strange at first, it helps learners become more fluent quickly. Elizabeth shared her experience with thinking aloud. At first, she struggled because Italian sentences were long and complex, and she had to simplify them for English. But over time, thinking in English became natural. She even had a conversation with an Australian tourist in Italy and realized she could speak English fluently without translating in her head. This encouraged her to use the technique even more. Conclusion: my learning journey continues. I found all these techniques, reading, shadowing, and thinking aloud, to be very effective. I started using them every day. I also followed my teacher's advice to spend 40 minutes daily on reading, listening, thinking, and speaking in English. With each passing day, my English improved. I gained confidence, made new friends, and enjoyed my time in London. My teacher's unique approach to learning English changed my life, and I will always be grateful for the experience. Welcome to Best English Stories, where English becomes an adventure. Today, we embark on an electrifying journey into the life of one of history's most debated figures, Adolf Hitler. Whether you view him with intrigue or contempt, his story is filled with aspirations, failures, ambition, and dominance. From a young child with immense dreams to a leader who altered the course of history, this is the story of Adolf Hitler like you've never heard before. Are you ready? Put on your headphones, relax, and immerse yourself in this remarkable tale, one that will enhance your English while keeping you riveted until the very end. The beginning of a troubled journey. It all commenced on April 20th, 1889, in a small Austrian town called Braunau am Inn. A baby boy was born to Alois and Clara Hitler. They named him Adolf. No one could have foreseen that this seemingly ordinary child would one day send shockwaves across the world. As a young boy, Adolf didn't stand out. He enjoyed playing outdoors, sketching, and dreaming of a grand future. But life at home was far from ideal. His father, Alois, was an authoritarian figure who believed in discipline. He wanted Adolf to study diligently and secure a respected government job, just like him. However, Adolf had a different vision. "I want to be an artist," he would whisper to his mother, Clara. She adored him and supported his dreams, but she was powerless against Alois's rigid beliefs. Adolf's childhood was riddled with conflicts. His father would yell, "Art is not a real profession," and Adolf, unwilling to argue, would retreat into silence, concealing his tears. At 13 years old, his world shifted, his father died suddenly. Some believed he might feel liberated, but in reality, it left an emptiness inside him. Adolf's school performance plummeted. Once a promising student, he lost interest. His teachers often remarked, "Adolf is intelligent but incredibly lazy." His passion for drawing consumed him, overshadowing his studies. The struggle for recognition. Upon completing school, Adolf packed his bags and moved to Vienna, Austria's artistic hub. He was ecstatic. "Vienna is the city of art. Here, I will become a legendary painter," he told himself. Brimming with confidence, he applied to the Academy of Fine Arts. But when the results arrived, his dreams came crashing down. He was rejected. "Your work isn't good enough," the school stated. Humiliated but determined, he vowed, "I'll try again next year." Yet, history repeated itself. The Academy rejected him once more. This time, the defeat shattered him. With no education and no career, Adolf's life spiraled downward. He resided in filthy, cramped rooms and, at times, was left with nowhere to sleep but the streets. He painted postcards, selling them to tourists for meager coins, barely surviving. Why is life so unfair, he often wondered. His misfortunes escalated when his beloved mother passed away. Now utterly alone and embittered, he began shifting the blame for his failures onto others. "It's not my fault," he would murmur, feeding his growing resentment. The birth of a soldier. Then, in 1914, everything changed. World War I erupted, and Adolf saw it as a chance to give his life meaning. Without hesitation, he enlisted in the German army. For the first time, he felt part of something greater. "I finally have a purpose," he thought. As a soldier, he displayed courage, carrying messages across treacherous battlefields. His bravery earned him 2 prestigious medals for valor. But in 1918, Germany lost the war. The defeat enraged Adolf. "Our leaders betrayed us," he fumed. He became convinced that Germany needed a powerful figure to restore its former glory. The rise of a political powerhouse. Returning to Germany after the war, Adolf found the nation in turmoil. Poverty was rampant, people were starving, and unemployment soared. The country's spirit was broken. Sensing an opportunity, Adolf aligned himself with a small political organization called the German Workers' Party. What made him different? His voice. Adolf was a spellbinding orator. When he spoke, people listened. His speeches were infused with fury, determination, and promises of a stronger Germany. "We will rise again," he thundered. As his influence grew, he rebranded the party, giving it a new identity, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, widely known as the Nazi Party. To symbolize his movement, he designed a bold red flag adorned with a black swastika. "This will be the most powerful emblem in history," he declared. Crowds flocked to his rallies. Tens of thousands hung on to his words, placing their trust in his vision. However, his ideology was deeply dangerous. He scapegoated certain communities, blaming them for Germany's hardships. His fiery rhetoric ignited hatred and division. A nation under his rule. By 1933, Adolf Hitler had climbed to the pinnacle of power. He was appointed Chancellor of Germany, the nation's highest position. His promises of jobs, economic revival, and military strength resonated with a weary public. At first, he delivered. He built roads, factories, and schools. People had jobs again. Hitler is a savior, many Germans proclaimed. But behind this veneer of prosperity lurked something far more sinister. Hitler controlled newspapers, radio stations, and schools. "You must only believe in Adolf Hitler," the government declared. Those who opposed him were either imprisoned or executed. He formed elite military units like the SS and indoctrinated children through the Hitler Youth. The Nazi ideology spread like wildfire. Soon, the swastika banner fluttered across Germany. It was a symbol of his absolute authority. The road to war. In 1939, Hitler made his boldest move yet. He commanded his army to invade Poland. With this act, World War II commenced. Hitler's vision was clear: to dominate Europe and establish Germany as the most powerful empire in existence. Initially, his military triumphed, winning battle after battle. But as the war progressed, his enemies multiplied. Meanwhile, behind the battlefronts, Hitler orchestrated one of history's darkest atrocities, the Holocaust. Millions of innocent people, whom he deemed undesirable, were brutally exterminated. By 1944, Germany was crumbling. Hitler's adversaries, the United States, Soviet Union, and Britain, were closing in. The once mighty Nazi forces were in full retreat. Bombs rained upon German cities. The citizens who once hailed Hitler as their hero now questioned their faith in him. "Why did we follow him?" they murmured. The fall of a dictator. By 1944, Hitler's empire was crumbling. The Nazi forces, once believed to be invincible, were now facing relentless defeats on multiple fronts. From the east, the Soviet Union pushed forward, reclaiming lost territory and advancing into Germany itself. From the west, American and British forces launched powerful attacks, driving the German army into retreat. Germany, once a nation filled with cheers for Hitler, was now a land of ruins and despair. Bombs rained down on major cities, destroying homes, factories, and even Hitler's once mighty war machine. People who had once believed in him now whispered in fear, was he ever right? But Hitler refused to surrender. Locked away in his hidden underground bunker in Berlin, he sat with his remaining loyal followers, issuing commands to generals who had already lost hope. "We will not give up," he shouted, refusing to accept reality. Yet deep down, he knew, his reign was ending. The last days in the bunker. By early 1945, Berlin was under full attack. Soviet soldiers had completely surrounded the city. The once proud Nazi capital was now a war zone. Inside the bunker, Hitler's world shrank to a few dimly lit rooms. He trusted no one. He feared betrayal from even his closest advisors. With him was Eva Braun, the woman who had stood by his side for years. Even in these darkest moments, she chose to stay. On April 29, 1945, with the end looming, Hitler made a surprising decision: he and Eva got married inside the bunker. It was a simple, quiet ceremony, attended by only a handful of people. "You've always been by my side, Eva," Hitler said. She smiled, but she knew, their time was almost over. The next day, April 30, 1945, Hitler made his final decision. "I will not be captured alive," he declared. He and Eva retreated to a small, dark room. Moments later, they took their own lives. Adolf Hitler was 56 years old when his life ended. Germany surrenders, the end of the war. Shortly after, Soviet soldiers stormed the bunker. They found Hitler and Eva's bodies. The man who once dreamed of ruling the world was now gone. With Hitler dead, Germany collapsed. On May 8, 1945, the German military surrendered completely. World War II in Europe was officially over. But the damage had been done. Millions of lives were lost. Cities lay in ruins. Entire families were wiped out. The horrors of the Holocaust would remain one of humanity's darkest memories. The aftermath: a world changed forever. In the years that followed, Germany was rebuilt, but this time, with peace in mind. People made sure that history would never repeat itself. The world looked back at Hitler's choices and saw a painful truth. Hatred leads to destruction. Unchecked ambition leads to ruin. Power without morality brings suffering. His story serves as a warning, a reminder that every action we take shapes the future. The lesson of history. Today, Adolf Hitler's name is synonymous with terror, war, and cruelty. His rule brought nothing but pain, loss, and devastation. But there is one thing we can learn from history. We must always choose compassion over hatred. Humility over pride. Unity over division. The world is a better place when we come together, respect one another, and work toward peace. Life is too short for anger and judgment. Instead, by spreading kindness and understanding, we can create a future filled with hope, not regret. Thank you for listening. This was the story of Adolf Hitler, a man whose life changed the world forever. It was a tale of dreams, power, and the tragic mistakes that led to disaster. Remember, history is not just about the past. It teaches us how to build a better future. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Best English Stories for more exciting historical tales that help you learn English while exploring the past. See you in the next story. Hello and welcome to Best English Stories. Are you eager to enhance your English skills? Fantastic! Today, we'll learn English through a captivating tale. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's jump right in. Introduction. Have you ever wished things could be smoother, swifter, and more efficient? You're not alone. Two highly influential figures, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, share the same belief, especially regarding how the government operates. Together, they have embarked on an ambitious venture to revolutionize America's governance. This video unveils the journey of that initiative, a narrative filled with groundbreaking concepts and transformative changes. Let's first introduce our two key protagonists. Elon Musk is often compared to a real-life superhero. While he doesn't possess superpowers, he crafts extraordinary innovations. As the mastermind behind SpaceX, he has revolutionized space travel, sending rockets beyond our planet's boundaries. He is also the visionary behind Tesla, a company that engineers ultra-fast electric vehicles. Musk is celebrated for his audacious thinking and relentless pursuit of innovation. He constantly seeks new technological solutions to enhance everyday life, earning global admiration for his creativity and drive. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is a formidable leader who once held the office of President of the United States. With a background in business, he is known for his bold personality and decisive approach. His primary focus has always been strengthening America, ensuring it remains a thriving place to live, work, and build a future. Throughout his presidency and in his second term, he has prioritized the well-being of American citizens. Recognizing Musk's brilliance, he formed an alliance with him, and with a firm handshake, they sealed the deal. So, what unfolds when a trailblazing innovator like Elon Musk collaborates with a strong-willed leader like Donald Trump? Something truly extraordinary, an initiative named dodgy, which stands for Department of Government Efficiency. But this isn't merely about decluttering offices, it's about overhauling the entire governmental framework, similar to upgrading an outdated operating system into a sleek, high-speed, and highly functional model. Why the name dodgy? It's not just a quirky term, it draws inspiration from an internet phenomenon, Dogecoin, a digital currency that Musk has openly endorsed. Originally created as a joke, Dogecoin surged in popularity, symbolizing a blend of playfulness and ingenuity. This project mirrors that ethos, proving that even serious matters can incorporate a hint of creativity and unexpected brilliance. The Shiba Inu dog, famously associated with Dogecoin, became the emblem of this initiative. This video will illuminate how Musk and Trump are collaborating to streamline governance, enhance efficiency, and ensure that American citizens receive superior services. Brace yourself for a journey of transformation that could reshape not only the United States but potentially the entire world. Chapter 2: Understanding the U.S. Government. Before delving into Musk and Trump's grand vision, it's crucial to grasp how the United States government operates. It may seem complex, but let's break it down into simple components. Think of the government as a vast team, with various players assigned distinct responsibilities. This team is divided into three core branches, each playing a unique role. 1. The legislative branch, Congress. This is the policymaking division, comprising two sections, the Senate and the House of Representatives. Elected officials from across the nation serve as senators and representatives, and their primary task is to draft laws. They deliberate on crucial matters such as education funding and infrastructure development. Imagine them as the architects of rules, determining how national resources are allocated. 2. The executive branch, the President and administration. This is the action-oriented team, led by the President, the captain of the ship. The President enforces laws, with assistance from specialized departments like the Department of Education and the Department of Defense. The President can also introduce certain policies independently. Essentially, this branch transforms legislative decisions into reality. 3. The judicial branch, the courts. This is the justice squad, responsible for upholding fairness. It consists of various courts, with the Supreme Court being the ultimate authority. Their job is to interpret laws, ensuring they align with the U.S. Constitution, the nation's foundational rulebook. Consider them the referees, ensuring all participants abide by the regulations. These three branches function collaboratively but also monitor each other, a system known as checks and balances. This prevents any single branch from becoming overly dominant. For instance, Congress can pass a law, but the President has the power to reject it. However, if Congress garners enough votes, they can override the rejection. Meanwhile, the courts can nullify laws that contradict the Constitution. This intricate balance fosters accountability and fairness. Chapter 3: Funding the Government. How does the government finance its operations? Taxes. Taxes are funds collected from individuals and businesses to sustain public services, such as infrastructure, law enforcement, and national security. Each year, Congress formulates a budget, outlining expenditure plans. If government expenses exceed collected taxes, it results in a budget deficit, similar to spending more than one's bank balance. If left unchecked, this can lead to severe economic consequences. Understanding these fundamentals helps us appreciate why Musk and Trump's dodgy initiative is necessary. They are striving to optimize government spending, eliminate waste, and ensure resources are efficiently utilized. Chapter 4: Musk's Vision for Change. Elon Musk is renowned for tackling enormous challenges and transforming them into reality. When he scrutinized the government's operations, he identified inefficiencies and envisioned a faster, cost-effective, and technologically advanced system. His approach mirrors the groundbreaking methods he implemented at SpaceX and Tesla. At SpaceX, he reduced costs through reusable rockets, while at Tesla, he revolutionized the electric vehicle industry. Now, he intends to apply the same mindset to government processes. His strategy includes automation and artificial intelligence, AI reducing bureaucratic delays by leveraging AI-powered systems. Minimizing red tape, streamlining forms and procedures to accelerate approvals for essential services. Eliminating wasteful spending, identifying redundant programs and consolidating resources for maximum efficiency. Chapter 5, Trump's Strategy for Reform. Donald Trump's agenda is centered on reducing bureaucracy, cutting excessive spending, and ensuring government transparency. His key principles include shrinking the government, removing unnecessary agencies and simplifying administrative processes. Ensuring financial accountability, every tax dollar must be justified and efficiently allocated. Transparency, making financial records accessible so citizens understand where their money is going. Trump recognizes Musk as the ideal ally for executing these reforms. While Trump supplies leadership and strategic direction, Musk delivers the technological prowess to turn these plans into reality. Chapter 6, The Dodgy Task Force. Dodgy is not a conventional government department, it is a temporary, elite task force assembled to overhaul inefficiencies. Experts from diverse fields, including technology, finance, and public administration, collaborate under Musk's leadership. Some youthful, tech-savvy members, nicknamed the dodgy Kids, are pioneering innovative solutions, ensuring the government operates like a well-oiled machine. Chapter 7, The Future of Change. Dodgy represents a paradigm shift, proving that governance can be streamlined, transparent, and technologically advanced. By harnessing cutting-edge solutions, fiscal responsibility, and innovative strategies, Musk and Trump are on a mission to create a government that is faster, fairer, and more efficient. This initiative may redefine governance, not just in America, but worldwide. A jest originating from a widely recognized online meme featuring a Shiba Inu canine swiftly amassed a devoted and enthusiastic following. People were drawn to it because it exuded lightheartedness, approachability, and presented an unconventional perspective on traditional finance. It demonstrated that value does not have to be rigid or formal. Elon Musk has been a vocal advocate of Dogecoin, perceiving it as more than just a digital asset. He views it as an emblem of progress and a challenge to conventional norms. He appreciates its community-driven essence and the way it fosters a more inclusive and accessible financial ecosystem. So, what is the correlation between this and the Bureau of Governmental Efficiency? The link is more about the ideology behind Dogecoin rather than the currency itself. The Doge government initiative embodies the same kind of trailblazing and transformative thinking. It is about questioning the norm, devising innovative approaches, and enhancing systems for the collective good. Consider it this way: Dogecoin disrupted the conventional perception of money. Likewise, the Doge initiative is redefining the traditional framework of governance. Both endeavors harness technology and fresh ideas to construct something superior and more streamlined. The emblem of the Shiba Inu, the recognizable face of Dogecoin, has evolved into an insignia for the Doge movement, symbolizing optimism, progress, and ingenuity. It serves as a reminder that even serious pursuits can embrace playfulness and that some of the most groundbreaking concepts emerge from the most unexpected places. Chapter 8, A Renewed America. Elon Musk and Donald Trump share a common aspiration, a government that operates more effectively for all citizens. They envision a system that is more streamlined, less wasteful, and more attuned to the needs of the populace. Their Doge initiative marks a pivotal stride in turning this ambition into a tangible reality by implementing bold reforms to drive meaningful progress. Throughout this book, we have delved into the various facets of this vision. We have examined the structure of the U.S. government, how Musk and Trump intend to refine it, and how the Doge team is bringing their strategies to fruition. We have witnessed how cutting-edge technology, pioneering ideas, and a dedication to efficiency can yield significant enhancements in people's lives. Let's revisit some of the core advantages that Musk and Trump foresee in a more optimized government. Reduced red tape. Imagine a government with fewer redundant policies and regulations, simplifying interactions between citizens, businesses, and government entities. Lower tax burden. A more efficient administration could potentially lead to reduced taxes, as fewer resources would be squandered on unnecessary expenditures. Prudent use of public funds. Envision a government that meticulously allocates every dollar, prioritizing initiatives that genuinely benefit society. Increased transparency. A governance model that is open and accountable, where citizens can readily track how their tax contributions are utilized. These are just a few of the ways in which Musk and Trump believe a refined government structure can uplift American lives. It is about ensuring the government serves the people rather than burdening them. The path to a more effective administration is not devoid of challenges. There will be roadblocks and resistance, but Musk and Trump remain resolute in their mission to overcome these barriers and deliver substantive improvements. They champion the power of collaboration, bringing together visionaries from diverse domains to devise cutting-edge solutions. The Doge emblem, rooted in the playful yet revolutionary ethos of Dogecoin, embodies the spirit of hope and progress that fuels this movement. It is a testament to the idea that even the most intricate problems can be tackled through ingenuity, perseverance, and a willingness to embrace unconventional thinking. Musk and Trump's vision extends beyond merely downsizing government or cutting expenses. It is about sculpting a brighter future for the entire nation. It is about establishing a governance system that functions as a true partner to its people, operating with precision and dedication to their well-being. It is a vision of a revitalized America, one that is stronger, more prosperous, and more attuned to its citizens' needs. And it all begins with the belief that things can evolve for the better and the unwavering resolve to make it a reality. Hey there, just a quick note before you go. If you found this content insightful, please hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the Best English Stories channel. It takes just a moment but goes a long way in supporting the creation of even more engaging English content for you. Your encouragement means the world. Thank you. Hello and welcome to the Best English Story. Are you learning English? That's fantastic. Let's improve your English skills with an engaging and meaningful story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Now, let's begin. Important leaders meet. The world is watching two influential leaders, Donald Trump, the President of the United States, and Volodymyr Zelensky, the President of Ukraine, are about to meet. Their meeting is a major event. It's about ending conflict, stopping violence, and finding ways to cooperate. This story takes you through their meeting in February 2025, a crucial time for both of them and for many other nations. Trump and Zelensky are different individuals, but they have significant responsibilities. Ukraine is experiencing a war, and the situation is extremely challenging. Many soldiers are losing their lives, cities are being destroyed, and people are living in fear. Trump wants to bring the war to an end. He believes he can negotiate a deal. Zelensky, on the other hand, needs assistance to defend his country. He hopes the United States will provide strong support. This makes their conversation very serious. Why is this meeting important? The war in Ukraine affects not only Ukraine but the entire world. Many nations are closely watching to see if Trump and Zelensky can find solutions. Will there be peace? Will the United States and Ukraine strengthen their relationship? These are critical questions, and this story examines them carefully. Trump frequently talks about peace and claims to be skilled at making agreements. He believes he can resolve the war quickly. Zelensky, however, is fighting for his homeland daily. He understands the devastating consequences of war and desires peace, but he also wants Ukraine to remain secure. Both leaders have their own visions for the future, but reaching an agreement is not simple. The first meeting in February 2025, the White House prepared for an important visitor. President Zelensky of Ukraine arrived in Washington, D.C., for his initial meeting with President Trump. The world's attention was fixed on them, as they had major challenges to discuss, primarily the ongoing war in Ukraine. President Trump welcomed President Zelensky at the entrance of the White House. They shook hands in front of the cameras, both appearing serious yet diplomatic. Inside, they moved to the Oval Office, a formal room filled with symbols of American power. Trump sat behind his grand desk, while Zelensky sat across from him, with their respective teams by their sides. The atmosphere was both professional and hopeful. Trump opened the discussion by greeting Zelensky and acknowledging the difficulties in Ukraine. He expressed his willingness to help find a resolution. Zelensky thanked Trump for the invitation and spoke about the challenges his country faced daily. He emphasized the need for peace but insisted that any agreement must be fair and respect Ukraine's interests. The first part of their discussion focused on the war. They talked about the suffering of soldiers and civilians. Trump listened carefully as Zelensky described the situation in Ukraine. Both leaders agreed that stopping the war was a top priority. Trump emphasized negotiation and finding common ground, while Zelensky insisted that any peace deal must be just and reasonable. After the meeting, the two leaders briefly addressed the media. Trump stated, "We had a very productive first discussion. We are beginning to understand each other. Both of us want to end the war. It won't be easy, but we will try." Zelensky echoed similar sentiments. This first meeting was crucial. "I believe President Trump is serious about peace. We have a long road ahead, but this is a promising start. Ukraine wants a just peace, and we hope to collaborate with the United States to achieve it." Although this was just the beginning of a long and complex process, their willingness to engage in discussions provided a small glimmer of hope. Negotiating an agreement following the initial meeting, Trump and Zelensky began discussions on a potential agreement. These negotiations were vital for both countries. The talks took place in various meeting rooms in Washington, D.C., with officials from both nations participating. They spent hours each day debating key issues. Ukraine sought a strong alliance. Zelensky emphasized that Ukraine needed more military support from the United States to defend itself against Russia. Security was his top priority. Additionally, they discussed economic matters. Ukraine possesses valuable natural resources, including rare earth minerals, which are essential for producing modern technology like smartphones and electric cars. Ukraine was open to working with the U.S. on these resources. From America's perspective, Trump wanted to bring peace to Ukraine while ensuring that any deal also benefited the United States. Security was a major concern, not just for Europe but for America as well. The U.S. wanted to strike a balance between helping Ukraine and maintaining its own interests. One of the most complex issues was rare earth minerals. The U.S. wanted access to these minerals, while Ukraine sought greater security assistance in return. Negotiations revolved around how much support Ukraine would receive in exchange for these resources. Another major challenge was Russia. Ukraine wanted the U.S. to take a strong stance against Russia, whereas Trump preferred diplomacy and dialogue with Russian President Vladimir Putin. These differing views made reaching an agreement difficult. The discussions continued for several days. Both sides worked hard to find mutually acceptable terms. Some points were agreed upon, but many disagreements remained. Tensions and breaking point. As talks progressed, tensions between Trump and Zelensky began to surface. During a joint press conference, Trump remarked, "We have done a lot for Ukraine, more than anyone else." He paused and then added, "But I'm not sure if we're getting enough appreciation for it." Reporters quickly noted the shift in tone. Zelensky, surprised by the statement, responded calmly, "Ukraine is grateful for American support. We understand its importance." However, his tone became firmer as he continued, "But this isn't about gratitude. This is about our country and our people. We are fighting for our freedom every single day." Vice President Vance whispered something to Trump, but he ignored it. Trump reiterated, "Appreciation is important, President Zelensky. We are talking about substantial assistance here." Zelensky replied firmly, "Respect is also important, Mr. President. We respect the help, but we also ask for respect in return. Ukraine is not just a transaction, it is a nation fighting for survival." The atmosphere in the room became tense. Sensing the unease, Vice President Vance intervened, "Perhaps it's best if we conclude here for today." Trump nodded slowly. Zelensky looked disappointed but did not argue. The press conference was abruptly ended. Reporters immediately began speculating, had negotiations broken down? What did this moment mean for peace and the future of U.S.-Ukraine relations? The atmosphere of cooperation had clearly changed, and uncertainty loomed over the discussions. What comes next, with the talks about resources and safety paused, the future remains uncertain. Will the U.S. and Ukraine find common ground again, or will their paths diverge? Many nations are watching closely, hoping for peace but fearing further conflict. If negotiations resume, a peaceful resolution could benefit Ukraine, Russia, and the world. However, if an agreement is not reached, the war in Ukraine may continue, bringing more instability. The decisions made by Trump and Zelensky will shape not only their own futures but also global relations. The next few months will be critical in determining what happens next. The world waits to see if peace is possible or if conflict will persist. Everyone hopes for a positive outcome, but the situation remains delicate and unpredictable. Tensions between Trump and Zelensky. The diplomatic relationship between Presidents Trump and Zelensky has been strained. In a recent meeting at the White House, President Trump expressed frustration over what he perceived as Ukraine's reluctance to engage in peace talks, accusing President Zelensky of prolonging the conflict. Trump's comments included labeling Zelensky a dictator without elections, and suggesting that Ukraine seeks to maintain the flow of U.S. military support. These remarks have drawn criticism from European allies, who emphasize the importance of unity in supporting Ukraine. Efforts to mend ties and resume negotiations. Despite these tensions, President Zelensky has expressed a willingness to re-engage in negotiations. He proposed signing a mineral rights agreement with the United States, aiming to strengthen economic ties and secure support for Ukraine's reconstruction efforts. Zelensky also emphasized the need for genuine security assurances to ensure a lasting peace, reflecting Ukraine's desire for robust commitments from international partners. European allies' involvement. European leaders have been actively involved in mediating the situation. French President Emmanuel Macron proposed extending France's nuclear umbrella to European allies, signaling a commitment to collective security. Additionally, Macron suggested that European military forces could play a role in enforcing any future peace agreements in Ukraine. These proposals underscore Europe's vested interest in the stability of the region and the importance of a coordinated response to the crisis. TheGuardian.com. Outlook and implications. The suspension of U.S. military aid and intelligence sharing presents challenges for Ukraine's defense capabilities amid ongoing Russian aggression. However, it also serves as a catalyst for renewed diplomatic efforts. The international community closely monitors these developments, recognizing that the outcomes will significantly impact regional stability and the global geopolitical balance. The recent interactions between the United States and Ukraine highlight the complexities of international diplomacy and the pursuit of peace. While challenges persist, the expressed willingness of both nations to engage in dialogue offers a pathway toward resolving the conflict and establishing a stable and secure future for Ukraine and its people. A turning point in peace negotiations between Ukraine and USA. March 6, 2025. The world watches as US and Ukraine face a critical juncture. The diplomatic relationship between the United States and Ukraine has taken a dramatic turn in recent weeks. With the war in Ukraine still raging, tensions between President Donald Trump and President Volodymyr Zelensky have intensified, raising serious questions about the future of U.S. support for Ukraine and the possibility of a negotiated peace with Russia. Trump suspends military aid, a tactical move or a strategic shift? On March 5, 2025, President Trump made a controversial decision to pause military aid and intelligence sharing with Ukraine, citing concerns over Ukraine's commitment to peace talks with Russia. The announcement, made by CIA Director John Ratcliffe, shocked both Ukrainian officials and U.S. allies in Europe. Trump's administration insists that the move is meant to encourage Zelensky to negotiate an end to the war, but critics argue that it weakens Ukraine's defensive position. "We've given Ukraine more aid than any other country," Trump stated at a press conference. At some point, you have to ask, are they serious about peace, or do they just want more weapons? The American people want results. The decision has sparked major debate in Washington, with some members of Congress arguing that cutting support will embolden Russian President Vladimir Putin, while others back Trump's approach, claiming Ukraine must engage in meaningful peace efforts. Zelensky responds, "Ukraine will not be pressured." President Zelensky reacted swiftly, delivering a strongly worded speech in Kiev in which he reaffirmed Ukraine's commitment to defending its sovereignty. "Ukraine is grateful for the support we have received," Zelensky said, "but let me be clear, we will not accept a peace dictated by outside forces. Ukraine is fighting for its survival, and we will decide our own future." Sources close to Zelensky's administration say that he views Trump's move as an attempt to pressure Ukraine into making territorial concessions to Russia, a proposal that Kiev firmly rejects. Behind closed doors, a heated meeting in Washington. Tensions between Trump and Zelensky reportedly reached a breaking point during a private meeting at the White House last week. According to leaked reports, Trump accused Zelensky of failing to show appreciation for U.S. support and suggested that continued aid should come with conditions. Zelensky, in turn, firmly stated that Ukraine is not a bargaining chip in a political deal. Eyewitnesses described the meeting as tense and confrontational, with Trump at one point allegedly suggesting that Ukraine should explore a direct agreement with Putin, an idea that infuriated Zelensky. A defining moment for global stability. With negotiations at a crossroads, the next few weeks will be crucial in determining Ukraine's fate. Will Trump and Zelensky find common ground and resume military cooperation? Or will Ukraine be forced to seek alternative sources of support?